Okay, it's running.
Okay. Welcome everybody to our April presentation on the spur of the moment. Today we're going to be talking about a brand new, uh, not maybe a brand new to me, remote access that I have decided to make use of over the team viewer that I did before. So I'm going to do a sharing here. And I just happen to have, see if that's the one right here. Nope, that's the thing we had before. Ken recognizes that. Um, I had a little thing that showed why I was upset. What's happened is, as much as I liked TeamViewer before, uh, for using TeamViewer as a Linux user, they have restricted what features I have. So I'm just ticked at them, and so I'm going to start switching. But this program, AnyDesk, you can see this is the icon for it right here. And let me go and do what I did before and pull up web browser. We are going to use the Brave web browser. If you haven't checked out Brave, you ought to check it out. It's a very fast, secure, based off of Chromium, and does a neat thing. It tells you how much it blocks. It's blocked 31 trackers and ads for me automatically. It has saved 1.7 megabytes of my bandwidth, and it has increased my time by 2 seconds. Now, retired, I'm laid back. 2 seconds isn't anything big, but I can't spell. Oh, ads. So I didn't type it right, so let's go back and type it right. There we go. Um, so this is the product. It has its development over in Germany, but it'll be very interesting because if you go to their downloads page, you're going to see a page that, my goodness, the back of my head, this looks familiar. And that's because this is a very, I don't want to say copycat, for TeamViewer, this screen. Uh, as you can see, it covers all the different operating systems, including Chrome OS and the Raspberry Pi. And the newest one that TeamViewer can't do is FreeBSD, which is a cousin to Linux. But otherwise, it does the three major ones: Windows, iOS or Mac OS, and Linux, plus Android phones and tablets, and uh, smartphones and tablets by the Apple company. So it covers everybody, and that's what I like. Now there's a few kind of big differences with the way AnyDesk. When you come to the website, they automatically know what you need. So they knew I'm on a Linux machine, so I would want that one. When you download it, puts an icon on your desktop, similar to, there's the icon for TeamViewer. When we did TeamViewer, TeamViewer for the main program, this is what you get. But you can see right here on the side of the strip, there is only three things I can do. I can share, I can do a phone book, and I can chat. With Windows users, they've got a few extras on here. And I'm not going to go into detail. I did that the other night. That I show side by side the different menu things to show you how they really have reduced what I can do if I'm using Linux. But the idea was that everybody has a ID, and it's permanent, doesn't change unless you totally reinstall your TeamViewer, and you have a password. And so when I go to help somebody, I have to have them tell me what's your ID, or I have to write it down, or I could keep it in a notebook or a contacts book with TeamViewer. But I got burned a long time ago because I had too many IDs in there. They thought I was doing this professionally and you getting the free one. So I don't. I just make you tell me. So like with Ira, I would tell Ira what's your ID number, and then once I get connected, then I have to ask them, well, what's your password? And then they have to repeat the password. But unfortunately, I've had little issues because there are some numbers and letters that sound similar, especially alphabet, and I would end up getting the wrong password in, the wrong password. Tell me it again. Tell me it again. Once we connect, it was fine. Now, there's also the one thing that AnyDesk doesn't have is the quick support, but I've learned, and I got to go learn how to do it, that there's a portable version of AnyDesk. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to open up AnyDesk. Now, AnyDesk, and I'm going to get rid of this thing over here a second. I don't want this. There we go. You can see up at the top that I have my ID number just like before, but you don't see anywhere on here that says password. And that's because I don't need a password. And somebody would say, oh, how is that secure? You'll notice right here up at the top that you can see I have been in contact with Ira. We have done this before. And I don't even need to have his number because my computer remembers it for me. I don't have to have an address book. There's an address book down here, but that's a paid thing. But this one tells me that I've got it. Now, it also tells me that I had connected with my Windows 10 for my APCUG, and there's my stuff. I've got a laptop and I've got a tower. When I connect, and since you can't see the person I connected to, is they get a pop-up that says, hey, John wants to have control over your computer. Can John have control? And that person just says accept or not. No worry of having to them transfer. Here's this big long password. Okay, repeat it again. What's the letters? Repeat it again. It doesn't have that. So I'm going to do a different thing. I'm going to close this out, but I got to make sure I don't close out TeamViewer. Oh, that's not TeamViewer's thing. Okay, I'm going to go over here to my desktop right now and see if I can get it to fire up and connect with me. Okay, it says I haven't had a recent session with you. So I put the number in, and I'm going to open it up just for a second so I can see my number. 330-809-226. Now, this is not, this is a okay. Why is my keyboard on my laptop not working?
Can John speak louder? Does John say, what is the name of the program? Is it AnyDesk?
Yeah. And you might have to turn up your mic if that is, because I'm hollering down here. Everybody's telling me, get quiet, get quiet. Oh, and I'm not talking loud because right now I'm trying to figure out why my computer won't type. That is very odd. Oh, because I was typing in the wrong place. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So now I'm going to put the number in 330-809-226. And as I said, you know, this is there we go. See what you get when you get an impromptu. Not that I haven't done this for 2 different nights. I got to do it again for California. 330-809-226. See, I would make Ira do it, but I put him on the spot. Okay, so I've got my number. So I'm going to close this out because I want you to see what's going to happen. So on my desktop, I've put in the number, and then I hit enter. And look at this. I get a pop-up message. And this message says 94926 wants to get connected. Now, if we have set up an alias, not like that in TeamViewer, that rather than have to do Ira's number, I could have Ira set up a thing like Ira at AD. Makes it very easy. So I can accept or I can dismiss this. Now, here's another neat thing about AnyDesk is that I have 9 different options that I can give permission or not. So for example, I can allow my desktop to control my computer. If I just want the person who's helping me to see and not touch, I turn that off. Same thing with the clipboard. I don't want anybody saying it. I don't want him to transfer files to me. I can say, nope. I can turn off the sound so they can't hear anything on my computer. So this is really nice because I can decide myself how much control do I want to have that person get. And so I get that, and I just hit accept or dismiss. Now I'm not going to do that here because you wouldn't see anything because it'd be on my computer. You also know that I have 2 options to do chatting and file transfer. So this is all the person who's getting help needs is this box. And that's where I can chat back and forth, and that's where I can transfer files. Okay, I'm going to cancel this now and close it. And then my laptop says, he rejected your request. Well, pooey on me. Okay. So, Ira, do you want to do the TeamViewer on your laptop? Now you can see right here that I've got discovered that my laptop is on. Let me see what happens if I click on Iris here.
Ira, I requested you to unmute. You're on mute. We can't hear you.
Remote display server is not supported by Wayland. Okay. So that must be an update to Ubuntu that won't let it do that. Okay, so we'll go back and do it the other way. We'll go to my computer. And you can't see it on there, but I've got an
you're live now, Ira.
Yeah, I was going to connect to you, Ira, but it won't. It says it won't let me now.
Well, I don't know if there's any time desk on here on the laptop, Ron, because Ken, when he did all that work, it's gone away, and I'm looking for my password for it.
You don't have a password for it.
Okay, I need to download it then.
Well, we'll come back to that and see, because it told me it couldn't do Wayland, and that's what Ubuntu is using now. All right, so on my desktop, it asks for permission, and so I accept. And you're getting to see the same screen, so I'm going to change that there. All right, so now what we have is a window inside of my window. and this is really good. Now, up at the top, this tells, get out of my way. I need to move my, there, because the Zoom thing keeps popping down. It shows in tab form. So this is the tab right now that is me, and this is the X that cancels it out. Now, of course, the person who is at this end, they have the ability to cancel. There we are. They have the ability to hit the X anytime they want to cancel out of here. Okay, so up at the top, we've got a panel of options. And in fact, there's a little bit difference between the Windows one. The Windows one, the buttons are right across the middle. And the Linux team said, let's put them over on the side out of the way. That's just a preference. The other thing that the Linux people did was they combined a couple of buttons under one category. What you have up at the top is, I have the ability to record this session. So I'm going to start it right now. So anything that is done on that computer is recorded. We have a chat box. So if I click the chat box, this opens up right here and I can talk to my other self. And where'd my other self go? Okay, and now you can see there's my other self over here. And remember I said you only needed to have that one box. And so there's the chat, talk to myself, and I can click. And for me, up at the top, it popped away when I was working, dropping it down, and there's my message. So I have a drop down that does my chats, and the person getting help has this chat on this box. So it's really easy. And just like with TeamViewer, once you're connected, anything that I can do everything. I have complete control over the mouse, the keyboard, clicking all the buttons. So you can see that I can just click anywhere here. I can open up the terminal. I can close the terminal. I can open up the start menu, which is a little bit below. I can hit my there, so I can do all that sort of stuff on that. So that's no big thing. One of the things that I really like a lot is that the file transfer. Now here, the file transfer is under actions, this little lightning bolt. On the Windows, it is its own button along with the whiteboard. So Windows has 2 extra buttons on it that I don't have, but I don't lose anything like I did in TeamViewer. They just said File Manager is an action. Whiteboard is an action. It belongs under the Action tab. This is really neat. If you've done file transfers at home between 2 different folders, this is it. On the left-hand side, this is me. It says that. It helps me know this device. And over here, this is my remote device. And it's in my home. So let me get. Okay. Oh, we're in my downloads folder. Why are we there? Interesting.
John, you're in the root of
Okay,
the right-hand panel there.
take control, use clipboard, use the file manager. Yeah, this one. For some reason, it's not letting me switch to that. So I can even make new folders. Now we put that on a different tab. Okay, let me gonna close that out. It's my remote. It's supposed to be just all my folders are here, but it's stuck in the download folder. No, it's downloading, but it's not getting me into the new one. So let me start again. I'm gonna close that out. I'm gonna disconnect over here. Okay, let's try connecting again. Get rid of TeamViewer first. Back to my tower. Double click, I don't even have to do that. Okay, it popped up. Accept. Okay, now let me go right to okay, we must have something that has to do with being on the same network. Trying to transfer. I thought it worked before. Anyway, this is what you get when you don't plan.
Do you
AnyDesk
want to connect
has
to my computer?
just been tons over what TeamViewer for me. The ease of it. The file should have been, all the files from my desktop should have been listed there, and I could go to any file or any folder, take the file I wanted, upload it to that computer, or take any file from that computer and download it to mine. And I did that before with no problem when we did the demo the other day. But there's something about running from my Linux to that Linux at the same time being the same Linux version. I think it's confused it because they're identical operating systems.
Well, John, it looked to me
But
like
when Ira and I did it before, it was great, and it was good. Juanita,
Can we back
unmute.
up 5 minutes? John,
I don't hear.
there's two,
I'm hearing
when there are two people that want to participate in AnyDesk, person A and person B both have to download AnyDesk first, correct?
I don't know. Can anybody hear me? I can't hear Juanita.
I can hear you, and I've been unmuted. I'm unmuted.
yeah, I think John's not hearing us is the problem.
Okay, because I can hear him
I
quite
can't hear
well.
anything.
Sorry about your luck, because I have a question. I want to do this in real live time. I could go get my sister's laptop and maybe do this in real time, but I still have to download it to my Apple and I have to download it to her HP desktop. But the question was, if anybody else can hear me, both participants have to download AnyDesk first, correct?
Yes. Yes, that's right, Juanita, that's right.
Okay, so if I'm person A and I'm having issues, at where on that screen do I touch or keystroke to for her to
Testing.
for us
Hello?
to connect, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I missed that part.
Hello? Hey,
Can you hear me now?
I can hear finally. Could you hear anything I was doing? Or that whole system
Yes,
crash
I could
out?
hear you the whole time.
Okay. My
My question
headset
was,
went out.
okay, my question was, and Ira answered the first question. Second question
Did
is,
he answer it correctly?
I did
yes,
correctly. If she has her sister on a laptop, she's on a laptop, then they both have to have AnyDesk.
downloaded and installed.
Before they can do anything.
Unless I learn how to do the portable one, which means you
Okay.
probably can run it off of the thumb drive. But there's
So
no
it-
reason why she wouldn't want it on hers.
Okay, but it doesn't matter that we're two different operating systems trying to connect to each other.
That's why I tell people the Windows remote access is bad because it only will work with Windows 10. But this one
But
works, as you saw on that strip across the front. This works with all platforms.
Okay, second question. Where on AnyDesk, if I open mine up and I get those 9 digits, where on AnyDesk does it tell her to say, yes, I can have control of her computer? Can you show that again?
Yeah, yeah. Do. Share. Okay, so I'm over at my desktop now,
Okay,
and it has said, oh, I see the laptop. Now, you got to pardon me for a second because I've got to go and get my number. So my number is 330. So she would have given you this number sometime, and you would have kept it. Okay, so now I close it up. All right, so she opens up her TeamViewer or her AnyDesk, and it says put in the remote desktop number. Or if it's remembered, all you do is double click on the little, and I'll show you to you on that one. So I say connect, and this is what pops up. Can you see it on the screen?
I do.
Okay, and right there it says accept.
Okay, but I will be giving her my number and she'll insert that number manually.
Why? Is she going to give you help?
No, vice versa.
She's going to give you her number.
Correct. Oh, okay.
And then she has to accept your wanting to get into her system.
Okay. And I would be willing to do this right now for everybody's satisfaction, but I have to download AnyDesk on my Apple. Is that possible? Without me disconnecting from Zoom?
Yeah, you just go to a different, well, I don't know, you're on the tablet.
I'm on a
you
tablet.
have to you have to go to the website, and or you have to go to Apple Store and download it.
John,
But,
I
yeah.
downloaded it. If you want to connect to my computer
Okay.
and show the file transfer thing.
I don't know why it didn't work. That's the strangest thing. I've never had that happen with that. Okay, so this is what I have, and see, there's my number, and right here is where I put in Kenneth's, and then once it puts it in, up at the top, you can see where Iris shows that we had a recent connection with Iris desktop. But he's
Okay.
on the laptop, and that's why it wouldn't work. So I would only have to double click and connect to whoever I recently did with, or right now here it says it discovered. this is where it says, oh, I can be on the internet and I can see who's on it. So Ken, let's try it.
Okay. It is 283 455 426.
And you noticed how everything dropped on my screen because I'm typing in a new number. All right, so now I have a connect button. There's a button that says I want to chat. And then if I hit connect, he's going to get the pop-up. Right now it says we're waiting.
Just got the pop-up.
And either a password or he just says accept. Okay, so now I'm on his computer. The problem we have because of Zoom, he needs to close his browser that's going to go through a tunnel.
Yeah, let me minimize Zoom real quick.
Yep.
There.
That
Is
happens
better?
whether we're using Zoom or anything else. It's repeating itself. All right, so I'm on my computer, and again, here are my tools across the top. And I go and click on my actions. If you were in a Windows, you would have in the middle of your, get out of my way, in the middle would be the toolbar. It's just a preference. And under actions, I have file manager. I do not. This is odd. What are you running? Are you on just your regular Mac OS?
Yep. Big Sur, the newest.
Because it won't let us do a whiteboard together. Supposed to. So we go to file manager. Now, this is mine and this is Ken's. And so I can go to my file and let's find something junky and something small. Okay, SIG chat. So I take a file that I want and I'm going to select his desktop, I mean his documents, and then I hit upload. Over on the side of my screen, I have what has transpired in the file transfer. And remember on what I showed you when there was that box that pops up on Ken's, what he gets is just a listing that shows the transfer. He doesn't see this big window of two file systems side by side. But if he goes into his documents folder, let me minimize this out again. Okay, so if Ken goes to his, and we can watch him, if he goes to his documents folder and quickly goes down, we should be able to see.
Not sure which screen you guys see. Can you see it open now?
No, I see the screen that has
How about now?
desk. There we go. So if he goes to his documents folder, he should find a SIG chat file, just right there it is at the bottom. Yeah, and so it's easy. And the opposite can happen. I can use the file transfer. I can access his files. I can access all of his files and pick something that needs to transfer back. Now, what's good for this? Well, if you have a program in my download that he should have, I can transfer something over. Like for Juanita, you know, she can't do her AnyDesk, but if she needed another kind of a program, a software program, I could transfer from download to there. So this is great. And, you know, you could do the file transfers with the team viewer as well. And I could be recording this if we were teaching somebody how to do something. And like I said, I know Max, and I can go ahead and, you know, do his computer. I'm going to be careful since I don't know a Mac with the Big Sur.
Go to the very bottom of the screen and just wait, and it should pull up the taskbar. The not the taskbar. What was it called? I forget. Let me pull it down. There you go.
Oh, okay. Evidently, I can't do that. So, you know, I could get to anything. Man, he's got a lot of shortcuts.
Yeah, I got to clear it out. Don't judge me.
Yeah, I don't. At least you don't have it on your desktop. You can.
Yes.
Pop-ups are fine. I don't care on that. It's just that we know that when you're using Zoom or anything, don't be running other programs. So running any desk along at the same time as Zoom is not the greatest thing. But it's not easy. Now, one other thing, this is neat. If I go up here, oh, there's a recording. I'm going to record this for a little bit, and I'm going to. Oh, it's on his other desktop. I can't move it.
John, I got it
Your
downloaded
Windows
fine.
drag and drop like I used to.
Can you hear me?
Not very well, Ira.
Oh, okay, but it's downloaded now.
Okay. But if I go up to my actions, and you ready for this, Kenneth?
Yeah.
Kenneth now has control of my computer.
Right.
And
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here, I guess.
So right now I'm just sitting back and we should be able to see Kenneth do something on my screen.
So what I see is connection in progress. Please wait.
Okay. Because we're having to completely flip the table around. And because we're also on with Zoom.
Right.
My son and I had a time, we did a VTC where we were showing off the tabletop simulator for Steam as we were running Zoom too. Is it still trying to connect?
Yeah. Nothing else is on the other screen, so.
I guess I hit the button that probably brings it back to me. Yeah. So everybody can see I'm back on yours. We'd have to test that out because I think maybe over Zoom, the bandwidth is going crazy, switching around. But that's another thing that you can do is you can quickly switch sides and they see your screen. I guess I'd have to check to see for 100% since this is new to me, whether or not, you can do the controls. Maybe it's just so you can see it. But this to me, is the program. Oh, I even, it stopped it while we did it. Okay, there I'm moving yours around. I needed to do something so they can.
Yeah, you're on a
see
different
recording.
screen now.
You what?
There's Kenneth.
I have two screens with my laptop screen and a monitor, and it moved. I noticed stuff moving on the right, and I looked over. So now you're on my right doing it.
Well, that's the one that I'm seeing. I don't know if that's what one they're seeing. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. And then Ken has the ability on his thing to disconnect. So I'm going to ask him to use that so you can
Done.
see now. And now I want people to see that the session's closed. AnyNet, is that the version that you have instead of AnyDesk?
Nope. AnyDesk is what it's called.
Well, look on mine. Can you see on mine the session closed?
Yeah.
It says
Weird.
status AnyNet closed. All right. So now just to show you, if I go down here, now there's Kenneth's right there, a recent session. Now go down here to recordings. And what's the newest one? 15.
Did you name it?
1556, 59. So this should be the newest one. And so I'm now watching the recording of what I did. And I think you can see that too, because you're watching my screen. I think this is neat that you can record, because if you're kind of showing them how to do something, like Kenneth could be using this for helping somebody with Bitwarden, and then he's got a recording of it that he can use somehow in the future.
Recording include the voice part?
No, there's no voice on this one. That's a Zoom thing. And I don't have a problem with TeamViewer. You have voice and video, but I never use it. And the reason for that is if I'm helping somebody and they screw up TeamViewer, I can't talk to them anymore. Or if we're doing something and we have to reboot, I can't talk to them anymore. Or if the computer crashes. So whenever I help somebody, I always use phone to phone. Usually I use Skype phone to go to their phone so I can have hands free. But you can do it like what we do with Zoom and have video and audio. But if you lose that program, then you're sunk. So the biggest thing we do is either use chat, and that's a lot of times what tech support people do. When I was getting some tech support using a program like TeamViewer, we all did it by text back and forth talking. And it's nice because you can send links back and forth, or we can do commands back and forth if we're running Linux. So no, you aren't recording the audio because there is no audio. And I have the problem with TeamViewer. Linux people cannot do audio and video. They can only chat. And I'm mad about that. Here, AnyDesk says, no, we're not doing the video audio part. We're just doing chat and helping out. Okay.
Juanita has her hand up.
Okay,
You have to
I'm gonna
unmute
stop.
Juanita. Unmute.
There, you're unmuted.
I'm very intrigued with this program.
You should be.
And thank you for enlightening us, John, about it. I am going to download it on my Apple when we stop, and I'm going to download it on my sister's HP laptop when we stop, and see if I can make it work without any assistance. But I would think that maybe next month to do a part 2, and anybody who wants to download AnyDesk, maybe we can practice some more.
Yeah, I would think that the better part would be to do one-on-one practicing. You know, just like, you know, when somebody is first learning Zoom, do it one-on-one to help them learn it, because it's confusing sometimes when there's multiple screens and all. But yeah, and I would be willing to help anytime, you know, do the AnyDesk. But I think the fact that I did it by going from my 2 computers, I don't know why the file didn't work. The biggest thing is that the stick with your screen, knowing, you know, don't watch the other screen because the other screen doesn't work, because that's just the helper one and there's nothing on it except that box that pops up and says accept or not accept. And that's how they see the chat back and forth. But if you're on the phone, you can't. Ira, unmute. Nope, you got to unmute. Once you unmute, then you can start over. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. How many people can you do this with? Can you do it with 3? I never thought to ask you. Can you do it with 3 computers?
It's something to try because each session is in a tab.
Uh-huh.
But
yes, I just
I'm
wondered if you
not
could.
quite sure. You might be able to help 3 different people because you
Right.
can log in, but that would drive you crazy because you're gonna have to remember which tab am I on, which person am I helping.
Okay.
We can
That
try
was
that
just
sometime, Ira.
what-
We need to try that and see. But I do know that they come up in individual tabs, so maybe you can be working with a couple of people at a time.
Right. I'm glad I got it downloaded. I thought I had it on this one, but I forgot Ken rebuilt this.
Yeah.
And it was gone. So it's on there
So
now.
there's an impromptu unrehearsed, unpracticed,
Well, it was a good session.
unrefined. Everett.
Yes, it's very, just a little note. These online computer scammers use remote desktop applications to get into these people's computers and do their nasty work.
Right.
And I was reading an article about this guy who actually shut down a number of those, or he was responsible for shutting down a number of those sites, and they used TeamViewer quite
Yeah.
a bit, and they used the remote. See, TeamViewer got a hold of what they were doing, and they closed out their accounts. Well, they didn't have any problem. They just had their whoever they
Victims.
got their victim downloaded, and of course they downloaded a new version, and they contacted the hacker, and they had a reverse connection. So now they can get it on their computers.
Yeah.
Now I noticed that TeamViewer, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but you couldn't do a reverse or a change sides. The last time I used it, which was over a year ago, they disabled that function.
Yeah. I'd have to look back and see. Now, what they did was, they would have the victim download quick support and start it up and give them the number. But the one thing is, once you close out quick support, password is no longer good. So they couldn't get back in. But once they're in, they could open up, background stuff and on a Windows 10 get through, their quick support. So yeah, that's what I like about this AnyDesk, that I have to say, except you're getting into my computer, and then I have an X to close it out.
Well,
so I really, really like this program. And I thought somebody told me, and I cannot confirm it, that these are former developers for TeamViewer that have started AnyDesk, just like Jitsi were just like Zoom were former, whatever, that's the other big company, WebEx. So the Zoom developers used to be WebEx people, so they compete directly there. And I think that the AnyDesk has some people that were former TeamViewer.
Well, keep in mind though that the hackers, first of all, they somehow get you to call them because they tell you there's something wrong with your computer. So you're calling them thinking this is some sort of support group, and they tell you you download this thing and install it, and they tell you to accept the call. That's how they do it. So it doesn't matter if you have this accept or non-accept thing. They're convincing you that you need to do that.
Right.
So you're stuck either way.
Yeah, that's why we have to keep telling and keep telling. Don't say yes to anything.
Don't accept anything.
Well,
Juanita
John,
has a question.
I have several questions. This AnyDesk, John, how long has it been around? Has it ever been hacked that you're aware of? And then I have a question for Everett.
Yeah, it's been around for a few years, not as long as TeamViewer, but on the website, go to the anydesk.com and you could read about how secure it is and everything. I have no problem with it. I can't know if that one's the one that's encrypted too. But okay, you can ask your Everett question.
Everett, you and I have chatted back and forth, and I can't remember the name of the program. Do you see any difference between this program that John's suggesting and the one you and I have used?
Fundamentally, well, it's Titan VNC is what I use.
Right.
The VNC stands for Virtual Network Computing. It's been around for a really long time. The other thing, and it fundamentally works the same as any other, like TeamViewer or any of those, but this is peer-to-peer. You're not going through a server. It's peer-to-peer, IP to IP.
What do you mean by this? The AnyDesk or the Titan VNC?
Well,
is peer-to-peer?
Well, The VNC, Titan VNC is peer-to-peer.
Okay.
And so you have to know the IP address of the two computer, or one of them, the one that you're going to go to, for instance. Like if I'm going to
Okay.
connect to your computer, I have to know
Okay.
your IP address. And the only problem with that is, and VNC has a workaround around this problem. If you have a firewall, which everybody does, it blocks any incoming traffic that's not been requested. So if I try to go straight to your computer and you have a firewall on, your firewall will block that connection to your computer. But there's a way to work around that, and we know how that is. It's called a reverse connection. Titan VNC has a way to get around that problem, and it works very well. Now, once you got the connection up, if you lose the connection, very simple to reconnect. You just do reconnect. It's simple. So it's restricted and it's a little teensy bit tougher to set it up because you have to go out and get your IP address in order to make the connection. That's the only other thing you have to do. And it's very secure. Like I say, it's peer-to-peer. Somebody can't hack into it unless they know your IP address and using the same program to get into it. So that's what I use.
Yeah, and I would add to that, that's the program I would use. But you have to have it with somebody who can handle that. Most people that I work with can't handle that, so we use AnyDesk.
Right, and they have to have the program installed, you know.
Yeah. And of course, it's an open source program, so that's why I would be supporting it too. But
So you're
what I
saying,
would,
John,
what?
you're saying, John, that AnyDesk is not as secure as what Everett and I have used with this Titan VNC.
Slightly, but all of them would be different than Titan VNC. You know, AnyDesk and TeamViewer are the same because what you're doing, and the same thing with Zoom. Right now, you are not going directly to me. You're going to the Zoom server and then back out. We're all going to the Zoom server. So what TeamViewer does and what AnyDesk does, they have a connection point that we are both connecting through them to get to each other. And that's not as secure as going one-to-one. But I'll tell you right now, if you're not a computer person, you can't really do it. It's a little bit more difficult than this easiness with clicking here and whatever. So
Okay.
you would have to be trained, like, you know, Everett is, to use the VNC. It's more like, let's say it's a Linux thing. And so, you know, it's something that I would not do with most of the people that I work with because they would have too much trouble dealing with it. With this, you just download TeamViewer, you just download AnyDesk, and I do everything. You just sit back. But with the type VNC, because that's, you know, we also talk about virtual private networks. So, you know, so techie people, and you had Everett working with you to do it so you could do it.
Correct.
But I don't know that if you're having to help somebody with their computer, whether they are capable of doing it.
Suave enough. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. And my sister is not.
Right.
And I'm not even sure that I could be, so she could initiate type VNC and I could get into it. Everett and I had problems in the beginning because we weren't doing it correctly.
Mhm.
But it was up to him to make all the
Right.
decisions. Yeah, guidance.
You know, that's something like we would do it at our Linux group, and we would do a whole training session on doing the, you know, type VNC, and you know, that's what I would prefer to use
Okay.
because it's open source.
Wonder
It's
how,
cross-platform.
John, have you ever tried looking at a video using this one you're using Wonder what the refresh rate is
Hmm.
on the screen. See, and they're all. When you're talking about looking at a screen in height, it's basically really a lot of data there,
Mhm.
and they typically only update the screen one update per second because that's a massive amount of data to send.
Yeah.
I update mine twice a second. It's every 500 milliseconds, and I play an online game. It's a mini putt game with uh, a couple of my friends, and I set it up so that they can see my screen, I can see theirs, blah blah blah. We can see each other's games, but it's it's pretty jerky.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to
Well,
watch a video with it.
Ira can tell you that when we were trying this out before, and I'm watching, I'm on my screen, and he was doing stuff. He would say it's done. I said, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. And then finally it would show up on my screen. So there was a somewhat of delay, but then it depends on what kind of internet connection you have between the two people you have. I don't know, Ken, have you done the type VNC or any of there's a slight couple different sister versions of it.
Yeah, but I've never tried videos or gaming over it.
Yeah.
It was just to do support.
Well,
So,
and that's
yeah.
really all. It's really not meant to watch videos. I mean, there's no, like I say, you'd have the resolution is screen, 1024 by 768 or whatever it is. That's a massive amount of data to send,
Yeah.
and so it's good for what it is. If you just want to show text or something, that's good enough.
Yeah. So that's why I do that, because a lot of people who are not high tech can still help somebody else easily with TeamViewer and AnyDesk. So it's easy to train and learn how to do it. It works across all the platforms. But I think going to VNC, you got to do it one step up and then have somebody that you're working with that can get it set up so that you can do what you need to do. And you were capable of doing that when you worked with Everett, but I can see some people that get so flustered with computers that, when you're talking about fix the firewall, what's a firewall, and how do you get to a firewall, and what do you mean change this? And then they go and change something else. And so I keep, as a teacher, I keep it simple, make it something that they can easily do. But I would prefer to do what Everett does and use the VNC.
Yeah, I might try this because like you, I think I was using TeamViewer, and then all of a sudden they accused me I was using it for commercial purposes.
Yep, I have gotten to.
And so I downloaded it again, and it happened again. And I got a hold of them, told them it's not for commercial purposes. So they reset it. The next day I tried to use it, same thing. I didn't realize that they were looking at the stored sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried wiping all that stuff out, but apparently I wasn't wise enough to not keep those sessions stored, and they'd look and see, oh, he's doing this for a number of people. So
Right. Well, and I did the same thing by setting up my contacts. I had probably 10, 15 different people over, and these are years ago. I don't know how many. And that's what did it. They said, oh, you've got all these people you're helping. You must be doing it for, profit. So locked me out. I got back in. But the other thing that happened to me one time is that the TeamViewer connection did not get severed. Even though we both quit, the connection was still live, and it went live for like 20 hours or so. And so TeamViewer says, oh, you're using this not just to help, you're using remote access to get to computers and stuff, so got locked again. So I think that's why with AnyDesk, the address book is only comes with the paid version, so that you can't have that problem happen. You can't create an address book that makes people think that Everett's doing a big business. So yeah, give it a try.
very good.
Don't know if this is the best program to post up on the YouTube because it really wasn't great with problems, but
I think it was very good, John. Don't be so hard on yourself. And I can't thank you enough for jumping in and doing it.
it just happened. The fact that I did Tuesday night, I was in Lorain County and doing it with them. Wednesday night, I was in Charlotte or Chesapeake Bay, and Bill James did the Windows one, and I did TeamViewer and AnyDesk. And I always let him go first because I want people to say, "Ooh, okay." And then when we come with AnyDesk and TeamViewer, and say Windows will only work with Windows 10, and then the Hero ones will work for everybody. And next month we do it in California, but I don't get to do AnyDesk. Somebody else is going to do it. So I have to talk nicely about TeamViewer, sort of. All right, I guess
I'll
that's.
see everybody. I'm gonna go. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I got 2 grandkids still upstairs that we're supposed to go home at 3:30. I thought.
Okay, if you're done, I'm going to go stop the recording.
Ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got one more question
Sure.
to John. When
Yeah.
is the best time to call you to get help if for AnyDesk?
Afternoons usually, except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays always APCUG.
When afternoons like 1 to 4?
Yeah, I have to pick up. Some days I have to pick up grandkids after 4:30. So, yep, between 1
Okay.
and 4.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.